name's Noreen Foxwell. Welcome to today's Kids Yoga Meets Astrology. As you can see, it's the holiday time. We have started to decorate for the holidays in our studio section. And so we wanted to come to you because there has been a lot of things in astrology that have gone on in the past week or two and that we're going into. So it's going to be a combination this time. We have been busy with other things that haven't had a chance to come in and update you. So the first thing that happened that I didn't get a chance to update you with was that we went into a whole new zodiac sign, and that was about a week or a week and a half ago, and that is what's called the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a sign that loves to learn. They love to explore. They love to travel. Sagittarius is one of those very fun signs. They're a fire energy, lots of fire, lots of energy. They go, 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 do, 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 do. And so if you have felt like you've had a million things to do and you just haven't had enough time and you've just been going, 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 that is the Sagittarius energy that we had entered a week or two so ago. And it's funny because that goes into the Thanksgiving time for a lot of us here that celebrate Thanksgiving. And sometimes when you're hosting and that's going on, you kind of feel like you just don't have enough hours in the day. And so that is a Sagittarius energy. Also want to just speak to you on, I have these great teaching cards that I got from my astrology teacher that I learned from. And they are great because they give you some little helpful hints on the backs of them to know. And some of the things to know about Sagittarians are how they are great teachers. I actually have a teacher that's a Sagittarian energy, actually two that are Sagittarians. And so I have to agree, yes, they make great teachers. And they do need their space. So if you have a child that is feeling like you're too much on top of them, or if you have a Sagittarius child, you need to give them their space for everything, to learn, to do. They're not the type that need to be micromanaged. You do not want to micromanage a Sagittarius child, or they're starting to feel that energy right now, and so you want to kind of pull back a little bit if you're maybe a helicopter parent, as they say. And so the other thing that happens is for every zodiac sign, and when we go into that zodiac sign, there are parts of the body that get affected from those energies. For the Sag season, or Sagittarius season, they call it Sag for short, that's your hips, I should say, I'm sorry. That's your liver, that's your thighs. So this whole area in here, it also is your sciatic nerve and your pituitary gland, which is funny because that's up here, but it affects so many things in your body. And so this is the area, this whole area here, we would teach you to do this very simple yoga pose. And then you go around the opposite way. And now you could make it very defined, or you could just do it very softly and slowly, depending on your body. And that is a good area to protect during this time, during Sag season. So Sagittarius, that's not the only thing that has been going on with the change of energy. We also went into a Mercury retrograde. Now, I have this awesome book called the Mercury Retrograde book. And it's actually by Yasmin Bolin, who does all the Moonology decks, which we're going to use next, and Kim Farnell. And Mercury retrograde happens 3 or 4 times a year. Every time, you'll hear it all the time. Oh my gosh, it's Mercury retrograde. It must be Mercury retrograde. You blame Mercury retrograde for everything, all kinds of things, electronic things and whatnot. But there are a couple things that were said in Mercury retrograde that I wanted to talk about this time of year. Is a great time to kind of reflect and look back at what you and or your child has achieved. It's very easy to point out the things you haven't done, the things you can't do, the things you messed up, or your child. It's very hard, I was going to say much harder, look how far you've come, or look how far they've come. They've gone up an entire grade in a year. If they're still in school, they're a whole year older. They're capable of doing so much more. And so that's one thing. It's a great time to actually learn a different language. So even yogis and yoga, a lot of yoga is done in a different language. The poses, the breaths, a lot of them have different names, Sanskrit names, that we in the kids yoga don't use very often, but in adult classes you will hear. So it's a great time to pick up on that and stuff. It's also a good time if you want to study anything to start to take it up during Sagittarius season. They love to learn, ask questions. That's a really good thing. So for your child too. It's also a good time to have a sunny, optimistic outlook. And I will say that is going to be well needed in this coming month. The energies that are coming, you are going to really need to have that sunny disposition and sunny outlook. It is in astrology a very, very heavy energy we're going to be going into for the month of December. It actually starts tomorrow with the new moon. Now, a new moon is when, I love this crystal, it reminds me of a new moon. A new moon is when the moon is completely dark. And so here's some of Yasmin Boland's cards on new moons. And they simply show that, yes, the moon is completely dark. And when the moon is completely dark, it's a time to kind of go in, not go out. It's a time to look and kind of pull your energy back a little bit. And just kind of notice a lot of things, and with your child, how you're feeling and why. And with this new moon that we're going into, it's one of two new moons this December. Rare, but not the rarest when it happens. What will happen is with the second new moon will be more of an area of concern. But this new moon is bringing in a lot of heavy energy. I hate to say dark energy. They're going to call the second new moon the dark new moon because there are two that happen. Or the black new moon. I think it's called the dark new moon. But this is the first, and they're dark anyway. You won't be able to see the moon tonight, tomorrow night. It's going to be completely void of any sunlight that will be shining on it. It will not be shining on it from our perspective here on Earth. And so you've got three different things that are all happening, but they're all happening during the season of Sagittarius. I am doing Western astrology this time instead of going back and forth. Sometimes that's confusion. The next video I might come into next week and do might be on doing the traditional astrology or Vedic astrology with the energies. Depending on looking at them, seeing which way I feel that they're going to be more like. I want to stay positive right now and shine the light on the Sag energy, because Sagittarius is a very positive energy and we need that energy going into astrology, everything that's going to be happening. I'll give a heads up next week. Mars, the planet of war and action, is going to become retrograde, and it's going retrograde in a sign that is not good for Mars to go retrograde in Vedic astrology. So there's a very good chance things that are going on in the world, you might see a lot of that type of stuff heightened. Hoping not, with the holidays all coming, but that does sometimes happen. And we're also, the moons itself that we're going into, all the full moons that'll be in 15 days, the full moons are all going to be at 28 or 29 degrees, and that degree is the thing to really be concerned with. The degrees that something happens is sometimes give you more information than the transits or where the planets and moons are moving, but the degrees are just as important. And looking ahead, prepare for December. Give yourself lots of space and time, including your children. Please, please, please give them their space, give them their time. I know it's really hard as a parent, I'm a parent or grandparent, to kind of pull back and to not critique, not be on top of your children, try to pull back from that parenting a little bit and give them their space, because they feel these energies. And so I hope you enjoyed this week's Kids Yoga Meets Astrology. I will probably be back next week with the Western, oh sorry, this was the Western astrology. Oh my goodness, my brain's going a mile a minute, and that's because Mercury retrograde is going reverse, reverse, redo, redo, revisit. Mercury retrograde is about all that kind of stuff. So I will see you next time. Namaste. Have a great yoga.